I done did with it. We're changing brakes. Christmas is here. Today we're changing brakes on a first generation Honda Pilot. This tutorial should apply to model years 2003 through 2008. Let's jack this thing up and get this bad boy out of here. I'm going to show you the center jacking point on this Honda Pilot. See this little nub thing? That's where you want to jack it up on. Me jacking up a car again. Same spot. Mini review. These are great. I love them. They're super thick. The gloves I had before, I'd blow right through them doing one job. I'll leave the link in the description. The 12mm bolt on the back of the caliper. Gonna undo these, get the caliper out of the way. We don't need to undo the brake lines. We're gonna take the caliper, set it somewhere on top up here. Out of the way. Caliper clips on a Pilot, 17mm. Before I get this all the way off, slide the, there we go. Alright. Sometimes it helps to lift up on the caliper clip if it's getting stuck to back this bolt out. Now the whole weight of the clip is carried by this one top bolt. There we go. Actually don't look as bad as I had expected, given that we are getting some grooving on the pads. You can see there's still a little channel here, but definitely time for replacement, so I'm glad we're doing this. Also, do pay attention which side is which, so you know which way they go on. Gonna have to drill these out. Screws are completely rusted in here, so here goes. Haha! Yeah! Oh yeah, victory! 13/16 drill bit is the perfect size because it let me drill the hole into the head without mangling the threads, so we can reuse the screw holes actually in the hub if we got new screws. They're not needed, so I'm throwing them out. These are actually free from the car. We've undone the screws, but as you can see, that ain't coming off, so it's time to get the rubber mallet. Hammer time! There we go. Yeah, I'd say it was time. This is, you can see it's fully bedded in here. We've also got some grooving right here. It's faint, but this is the car the wife and kids drive around in. So a little bit of grooving for me is too much, especially on the back side here. Gotten the first rotor off. Now it's time to hit everything with brake cleaner, just to make sure any of the corrosion that's on the hub assembly is gone. And it's freezing cold because it's been in the garage. Time for grease. We're going to want to pull the boots back and grease the pins under here. We're going to want to remove these old clips from the calipers. The Bosch pads that I got come with new hardware. You really want to change that every time you change the pads. So we're going to make sure to get rid of that. I capped the brake cleaner too soon. These are heavy, as they should be. There, Bosch quiet cast, and I got the matching Bosch pads. Obviously, these screws aren't necessary. They're just there to hold the rotor on while the car is being made. You still want to line up the new rotor with those holes in case you have screws that you want to use to reattach. Now that and you see that's what those screws were doing. So it's just going to make it a little bit trickier as we get everything assembled here. Perfect. There's the old one. There's the new one. Go on the same way they came off. So putting a little grease on the shims. These are factory applied shims. This will prevent the brakes from squeaking, like right off the bat. There you go. So in order to get the caliper back on top of the pads, you can see the piston here has extended, and we need to get it to retract again. So using I need 3 hands. Using a C-clamp like this.
Oh, look at that! It stays compressed.
Yes, yes. So you gotta work fast. Okay, we gotta align these little guys. Whew. This is the 17 millimeter in order to get the caliper clips back on. Just be careful with the brake line. Most of your brake lines are metal. There's this flexible portion that you can damage. It's hard, but you can do it. So just be careful. There we go. So that's the 17 for the caliper clip. To reattach the caliper to the clip, we need the 12 millimeter. Got the new rotor on, new pads, everything's greased, everything's been cleaned. We do a mental checklist. Rotor's in place, clip bolts are tightened, caliper bolts are tightened. We're good, we can put the wheel back on.
It's my time to shine. I'm gonna put the wheel back on. Do my best George Washington impression. You know how he used to roll wheels down the hill when he was a kid. What are you talking about?
I think they were Honda wheels. There you go. There you go.
He has me do these things to show that anybody can do this stuff. Alright, so these are going to go as tight as this thing will take it, which is going to be less than spec. At this point, what you're seeing is Alan just going ahead and changing the driver's side brake and rotor on his own. So this is sped up 30 times. We're just going to let it roll. Feel free to click the top right hand corner to skip the driver's side and just get back to putting the wheel back on. Now that Alan's wrapping up the driver's side brake job, we're going to lower the car back down and tighten things up. We've got the torque wrench set to 64 pound-feet. I'm about to crank this baby down in a star pattern to 80% of spec. Go. Now I'm going to tighten it up to full spec. I'm going to torque this guy up to 80, which means that this number here is going to be 0, and it's going to go up to the 80 mark on the side. And there you go. That's 80. We're going to play a little game called Will It Stop?
New Rotors is going to have some film, either oil from the factory, or in this case there's the painted surface. But it sounds nice and smooth. Nice and smooth.
I hear nothing, and I do hear the engine, so we didn't mess that up.
That's good. That's good. That would be impressive even for us, because we didn't touch it.
Obviously, we want you to do it yourself, but we also want you to be safe. So if you attempt anything in this video, make sure you don't hurt yourself.
Brakes are the most important part of your car. If you're not confident with it, don't try it. Take it to a trained mechanic.